When do you know when to sell? Because I think that's usually the hardest part, right? You've built your baby for 15 years and now you're out there to sell. How do you know when to sell?
Well, once you get to a certain size, most companies sell fairly predictably for anywhere from 5 to some multiple of the EBITDA. And so you can basically, if you're a smaller business, you have to have a fair bit of EBITDA to get above the 5, 6 multiple, like more than $10 million of EBITDA, not of sales, but and EBITDA is not profit, but basically it's close to the profit line, right? And it's the earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, amortization, etc. Right? And but the common way the businesses are sold typically is X times EBITDA. Right? Some online business are done by X times revenue or multiples of their recurring revenue type or their customers and things like that. But my business is selling hardware. It's a buy and sell business, and it sells based on the profit, right? And so you basically sell it when 5, 6 times the profit is enough that make you happy. Yeah, and I mean, you also have to. Sometimes you go through cycles in the business where you come out of a cycle into a cycle, and you can kind of feel that you're riding a wave of a peak, and it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to wait to the next trough and into the next peak, because they take an average of your EBITDA over the last few years. And so essentially what happened with us was that we had a really complicated time in 2019. And so we had to restructure parts of the business, which I'm happy to talk about at any point. But essentially we went from 80 people to 29 people in one day. It was the best. It was the hardest thing I ever did in my life, hardest decision I ever made, hardest job I ever did was to do that. And it was the smartest and best thing I ever did. And we made more money than we'd ever made the next year. Everyone that was let go got a job. Nobody was left out in the cold, and everyone landed on their feet. And the company was allowed to thrive the way it should. And then we went on to have great years, and we sold it for record numbers, like in our opinion, in 2022, right? But you need to stack those good years together, because they're going to take an average, right? And that's typically, so you can't just typically have one good year and then and the last ones were crappy and expect that they're going to pay you a top dollar for that, right?